Hello and welcome. My name is Teresa, and I am a mind body integrative coach. I'm also someone who has recovered from severe chronic illness that left me bedbound for many years. This channel is aimed at sharing information that might help others in their own recovery journey, whether that be from chronic fatigue syndrome, ME, chronic pain, long COVID, dysautonomia, anxiety, or any other chronic illness that is impacted by the nervous system. I utilize many tools to support people in their own recovery, and one of those tools is the Safe and Sound protocol, which I shared my own experience with in the last video. I want to go into a little bit more about what that's about and how it can help people with chronic illness and chronic pain. So, those of you who have suffered from chronic illness and chronic pain for a long time may also cope with anxiety and may feel like big changes are hard and scary. When I was at my sickest, my capacity was so low that doing anything felt dangerous. I was always worried and preoccupied that a new intervention would make things worse or activate my nervous system in a way that felt too much. One of the things I love about the SSP is that it's really gentle and brings about subtle changes. The SSP can be tailored to each person, even if done in a group. Now, depending on the current state of your nervous system and how much capacity you have, you can listen to a few short minutes at a time, or you can listen for longer periods. The goal is to match the dose with the person. In my experience, doing the SSP in a group is the best way to move through the program. Self administered SSP isn't as effective if people don't stay on a listening schedule or have access to co regulation while they're doing it. I've had much better success with groups, and I find it provides all the elements needed: co regulation, structure, guidance, encouragement, and support tools. You may ask, what is the SSP going to do for me? Well, it is different for everyone. But in general, the SSP acts as a kind of lubrication for the nervous system. So, those who have been stuck in freeze responses due to overwhelm from stress, trauma, or adversity can begin to reorient to the ventral safety state and start thawing some of that freeze or dorsal shutdown. It can also support you to come down from high activation for those of you who get stuck in sympathetic states of hypervigilance. So many of the chronic illnesses that a lot of people experience are driven by dysregulation in the nervous system. And part of the healing process is supporting better regulatory capacity. The first ingredient in expanding your nervous system capacity is safety. When we bring in cues of safety and we teach the nervous system how to recognize cues of safety, we can begin to release stored activation from years of stress, trauma, and adversity. Some people have a nervous system that focuses on hypervigilance, which preferences picking up cues of danger over cues of safety. The Safe and Sound protocol is designed to shift this. It can help the nervous system to start reaching for the middle frequencies that are associated with the human voice and signals of safety. It does this by essentially training the middle ear to first recognize and then keep finding those sounds. Now, this supports the nervous system to calm down by keeping it more oriented to the ventral vagal state. Those of you who are familiar with polyvagal theory know that this state is part of the parasympathetic state of rest and digest, and it's where the body can move back into homeostasis so that healing can occur. When the nervous system is in this state, it's sending signals to the brain that all is well, and the brain begins to turn off danger signals like pain signals, inflammation, dysregulated autonomic functions like dizziness, POTS, fatigue, and anxiety. It also gives the nervous system a way to discharge held activation. We can't discharge stress if we don't have a place of safety to return to. The SSP helps your nervous system to better recognize cues of safety, which allows it to lift the dorsal brake so that you can discharge held activation or stress energy and return to baseline. For most of us, we get stuck in freeze because there isn't enough safety on board to discharge all the held energy underneath it. Freeze is a combination of dorsal shutdown and high sympathetic activation. It's kind of like having a bunch of high activation in the system that's being pushed under by a frozen iceberg. The SSP helps to melt that dorsal iceberg so that the energy can release and we can return to baseline. Now, the music in the SSP is specially filtered in sequences that train your ear. This all happens without you having to do anything other than stay open and curious to whatever arises as you listen to the music. The SSP is quite subtle, so most people don't notice a lot of obvious state changes. In the beginning hours, many people feel relaxed and more of a desire to rest or sleep. In the later hours, some people notice more mobilization of energy and feel the impulse to move. There are people who experience the reverse of this as well, and people who feel relaxed the whole way through. All experiences are okay. As you listen, you will attune to your nervous system and respond in ways that support wherever you are and whatever you're noticing. So if you feel relaxed, you simply take that in and allow yourself to rest. If you feel energy rising, you can move your body in big or subtle ways, depending on your capacity and ability to move. It's truly a passive, though highly effective tool. Now, I'm going to be offering SSP listening groups starting in a couple weeks. I think they're going to start September 16th. So, if you've been wanting to bring in another tool to support more regulation in your nervous system, this is a super accessible way to do it. There are some practitioners who are using the SSP as a primary tool for long COVID recovery with excellent results. The SSP helps to restore better vagal tone, reducing signals of danger so the brain can turn off the symptoms. I have a couple of different groups that I'll be running. They will each meet twice a week. The standard groups are for those who are able to function throughout their day, can tolerate some activation, and are capable of regulating and or tolerating most physical and emotional symptoms. In these groups, we will move through the listening in 10 sessions over 6 weeks. I also have an HSP group for highly sensitive people who have a higher threshold of symptoms and more sensitive nervous systems. These groups will move through the SSP more slowly, listening for shorter periods of time in 20 sessions over 11 weeks. Each group will start out with a Nervous System 101 class that will explain polyvagal theory and how it relates to the SSP. I will also teach and demonstrate various regulation tools in each listening session, and then we'll have some space for sharing our experiences and answering any questions. Finally, there will be an integration call after the completion of the listening where we can share final experiences, and I will offer instructions on how you can continue to boost the results of the SSP. The groups come with a 12-month subscription to the SSP app where you can continue to listen to different pathways post-delivery, and you will also have an option to repeat the active core pathway again after about 8 weeks. For more details on the SSP groups or to sign up, please go to my website at monarchintegrativecoaching.com under SSP Groups. I'm also available for any questions you may have about these groups, so shoot me an email, or you can book a free discovery call through my website where I can answer your questions directly. We often overcomplicate the healing process, and we think it has to be this super active process of constant efforting. I cannot tell you how much of my recovery, my effort to recover was spent doing, pushing, striving, driving to get better. And it's very interesting because the more I move into my own recovery and actually start seeing results, the more I realize how the most effective things I've done have been simple. It's really not about force. It's about trust, surrender, and presence. The SSP can help you to access a bit more of these qualities within yourself. And I really hope you'll take advantage of this gentle and supportive tool. Okay, I am wishing everyone continued healing, one step at a time, and I encourage you to give yourselves a gentle dose of compassion today. Take good care, everyone.